NHL insider Frank Seravalli says that he believes the Golden Knights stashed Nolan Patrick on LTIR when Patrick might have been healthier than VGK led us on to be. We'll tell you more about it.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday, which feels like a Monday. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcasts, of course, and on the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. Please subscribe there. We are on X. We're not on X, but we are on X, at Tony Dasco, at TD Chris G, at Locked On VGK. So, Chris, Robin Lehner called him Dr. Seravalli. And Leonard denied that he had a variety of injuries, and Seravalli was right. Seravalli told us that Mark Stone was dealing with a similar back issue to one that limited Stone to just 37 games 2 seasons ago. He was right about that as well. Now, on the Oilers Now podcast, it was Seravalli who stated, I think Nolan Patrick was maybe a bit healthier than the Golden Knights might have let on. This wouldn't be cooking the books, Chris. The books would be ablaze. This would be a 5-alarm fire. Seravalli's not wrong. He's not been wrong yet, has he?
I mean, that's the one thing I thought about, Tony, because my gut reaction just wanted to blast Seravalli. And then you thought about the Robin Lehner comments. And for those that can't recall exactly what happened, when things were going poorly for Leonard down the stretch 2 seasons ago now, as the Golden Knights were trying to qualify for the playoffs, I mean, Leonard looked injured. Everyone, it seemed like something was off with Leonard. He just was not playing well. He was slower than normal for his, big body kind of Hulk self that he is. So Seravalli comes out and says, hey, something's not right. I forgot what the exact claim was, but he basically said there's an injury here. And Leonard right away, was like, no, I'm fine, whatever the comment was. And how much longer later was Leonard all of a sudden shut down for the year? Oh, and by the way, Leonard hasn't played for an entire calendar season now. So Seravalli deserves the benefit of the doubt. The comment still concerns me a little bit, though, because we're not talking about a measurable injury that you might see on an x-ray board or things like that. We're talking concussions. You're talking an entirely different animal altogether. Just thought about the Naked Gun scene, everyone all together. Anyway, moving forward from that. You're talking about something completely different there. And I think that is borderline crossing the line of an inappropriate comments that I hope Seravalli is wrong about. I do, because if he's not wrong about that, it's going to be some more egg on the face for the Golden Knights, who have been investigated for cap circumvention with the Mark Stone situation.
Didn't VGK declared Patrick out for the entire season? I went back and looked at this on September the 22nd of last year, before the season even began. September the 22nd, Chris.
Yeah, I'm looking at his contract right now. So at the Golden Knights, he had
$1.2 million.
$1.2 million. So Kessel was signed before this, so it's not like they declared they declared Patrick out and Kessel in all of a sudden. I'm assuming the team was already cap compliant prior to when Nolan Patrick was announced to be out. I could be wrong on that, but I'm not 100% sure. So, I mean, I understand the angle here, but why are they going to wait that late? If the Golden Knights, let's just assume for a second they're cooking the books, right? Let's assume they're playing games, trying to do whatever. why September 24th? Why not August
22nd.
1st,
The
22nd?
22nd. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
why not August 1st? Why not June 1st or approximately July 1st when free agency starts and they can do some more shopping? Like that right there tells me they waited as long as they possibly could have for Nolan Patrick. But I mean, you look at his injury career, you look at all of his injuries and the stuff he's been through, and I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think this is a comment that might bite Seravalli in his behind, and he might need
Nah.
to be held accountable for it.
Well, he definitely feels accountable on everything that he says.
And he's
He's
right. And he's
accountable.
right. Look, I will acknowledge that all day. He deserves the benefit of the doubt. So maybe this is
Right.
the fan in me talking. I haven't abandoned
Yeah.
that side of me yet.
And
So maybe
maybe
this is
it's
the fan in
negative.
me.
And maybe it's negative Tony coming out already after Labor Day.
We're in midseason form, Tony.
That's what someone said the other day. That was great. October the 22nd of 2021, that was the game in which Nathan McKinnon got that hit on the head of Nolan Patrick.
No
Then he came back.
suspension. That still tilts me. No suspension. No nothing. Anyway.
Don't be bitter. Be better.
Oh, I'm bitter. I'm bitter about that.
Okay. But then we saw Patrick, I think, returned around New Year's Eve, and then he was gone, and that was it. To declare someone out for an entire season early on, it leads you to believe that he had a really bad injury, that all of those concussions were adding up. And now, this could get very ugly if it is indeed true, because for Nolan Patrick, you put him on the shelf for an entire season. He doesn't have very many days left. He's a restricted free agent, and there could be some serious issues here with litigation and claims to the Players Association and all of those things. That's what I was thinking about.
And it's fair.
It's tough. And of course, we had Mark Stode. They stowed away Mark Stone. Still believe that. And then, of course, so those issues, NHL comes in. What do? They investigate all of those claims. And VGK gets away scot-free. Why? Because Gary Bettman is a fanboy of VGK. Let's face it. And now with Nolan Patrick.
Mid-season form.
Yeah, midseason for him. Now with Nolan Patrick, though, Chris, and I'm just being honest here, you have to definitely think that something's going on there behind the scenes. It's stuff that I think that a lot of teams do, but now VGK is under a serious microscope, having won the Stanley Cup.
It's all fair, and I'm very keen on acknowledging reality and looking ahead and looking at both sides of this. So I think that's a fair perspective that we as media, we as fans, we as everything in between should take when evaluating a perspective about what Frank Seravalli said. And like the situation with Robin Lehner at the time, I was like, okay, if Lehner says he's not hurt, he's not hurt, even though it was pretty apparent that he was hurt. Seravalli's track record, at least recent track record, I don't really know what he has said outside of the Golden Knights organization, but his stuff about the Golden Knights has been pretty spot on. So that's a concern. And, Tony, it is a fair perspective that you're offering, where if the Golden Knights, something comes out where they highly suggested, well, you're hurt, maybe you should take this. I'm winking for those on audio right now. Maybe you should take the entire season off. Like, I don't know how these conversations happen. What I do know is there's a very, very thick rule book that all the teams are held accountable to. Inside this very, very thick rule book, it's not that there's all these rules written out, but the rules that are written out are tools for the general managers. They are tools in the sense that you read a rule, you find a way to exploit that rule.
They're guardrails. They're guardrails, basically.
Yeah, no, this reminds me when I ran poker rooms. This was, I got pushback a lot from staff members on this. They always wanted to write a new rule. Every time like something happened in the poker room, okay, this needs to be in our rules. This needs to be in our rules. And I would have to slow everybody down and say, guys, listen, the more rules we put in, the more people are going to sit around and read these rules and use them against us. Same thing in the NHL. Their rule books, I'm sure, are far thicker than poker rule books. And, you have people with high-priced attorneys and lawyers and on both sides and billionaires on both sides of the coin really getting down to the most dramatic detail of these rules here. So, long story short, yes, could Nolan Patrick possibly have played last season given his circumstances? If Frank Seravalli is suggesting that there might have been something a little kinky going on, there's the word of the day again. If Seravalli is suggesting this, then it should at least be acknowledged as a possibility. I have to acknowledge that. It's fair. It's fair.
And VGK, I'm sure there's some turmoil going on as we speak as far as how do we cover this up, or let's get there's never facts that are released here. Never, ever, ever. It's the NHL, and this is the way that they want to conduct business.
That's all sports leagues, but unless something major is found, then they'll tell us everything.
Coming up next, will Maxime Comtois become a Vegas Golden Knight? You like my French?
That was good.
We'll return with more right after this on Locked On Golden Knights. Our next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. I drink it literally every day. I give AG1 a try because I felt as though it would help to boost my energy. I drink AG1 because it gives my body the nutrition that it craves. Since I've been drinking AG1, I have noticed an overall healthy feeling, and it definitely really helps me to sleep better. It's a science-driven formulation of vitamins, probiotics, and whole food sourced nutrients, I should say. And it's a micro habit that delivers macro benefits and helps just about everybody that wants great care of their health each and every day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then try AG1. Get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your very first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/NHL Network. That's drinkag1.com/NHL Network. Check it out. We are back on Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Make sure that you check us out on YouTube and please subscribe there. And in a couple of weeks, we'll be going back to our regular 5 days a week. So we have to enjoy a little bit of flexibility right now. Our lives are busy. We are very busy, guys.
Darren Millard, one of the commentators for the Vegas Golden Knights, he put a tweet out. This past Sunday was the last Sunday where you won't have some type of hockey NHL activities happening for the next, I don't know, until basically through the Stanley Cup final right now. I guess you have some camp starting and stuff like that. So this is go time. Plus we got NFL on Thursday, so I'm really excited right now.
Pretty pumped up. So the story coming out of BPM Sports from Quebec, reporting this weekend that former Anaheim Ducks winger Max Comtois would be signed to a professional tryout contract with the Vegas Golden Knights. I didn't realize he's still that young. It appears as though he's been around the league for a while. He's only 24 years old. He started out gangbusters in his career, and then he went into a slide. He faded just like the Anaheim Ducks. But I just remember in the early days of VGK, he killed the Golden Knights. So I went back and I looked up some numbers here, Chris. From 2019 through 21, he scored points in 6 of 8 games versus VGK, had 6 goals, 2 assists during that span. And that's who I remember. So would he be an apt replacement for Riley Smith?
Replacement, I think, is a very big word. Would he be somebody that could possibly contribute that has high upside? I mean, raise your hand if you were excited when the Golden Knights acquired Chandler Stevenson. Like, who's this guy? Line 4 center, cool, whatever. Well, he turned out to be the line 1 center until Jack Eichel's arrival, and now he's the line 2 center and filled both of those roles very, very well. So can we maybe have a diamond in the rough? Can we possibly see someone that, who, I mean, things don't work sometimes, right? Anaheim is who they are. I'm not knocking the Ducks, just maybe it wasn't the right situation. But you look at his early start with the Ducks. I mean, 2020-21, 55 games, 33 points. Like, that's something right there. And then 64 games, 19 points last season. Before that, 52 games, 16 points. So, I mean, I hate to, we're talking Phil Kessel numbers here. Sorry, that was
But
off
it, but
banner.
it,
I'm
but it
sorry, Phil. I'm
definitely,
sorry.
it definitely paralleled the downfall of the Anaheim Ducks.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt, Tony. It's listen. Sometimes people just need a new start, and you look at Jack Eichel. You put him in a room with in a room full of leaders and Stanley Cup experience, and an organization that seems to know what they're doing a little better than the Buffalo Sabres. I'm sorry, but that's the reality right now. Good things happen. And not that the Ducks maybe are doing it wrong right now. They're just in that downfall, kind of like what the Sharks are going through, and what the Coyotes went through for a while. Now they're on the upward slope, and the Golden Knights are going to have this type of downward spiral at some point too. It's inevitable given the contracts and stuff like that, but now is not that time. So you bring a 24-year-old in who has had, my favorite league, Tony, from the QMJHL, the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. I just love saying that.
No fighting allowed.
Well, fighting allowed. Yeah, that's
no
a
fighting
segment too
allowed
at some
in that
points.
stupid league.
That's so
Yeah,
weird.
that's
The scrums are going to be weird. I don't want to get too off the rails here, but the scrums are where the action's going to be in the QMJHL, and they're going to have some growing pains going through all of that, going through that process. There you go. But back to the situation here with Comtois. There we go. I think I got that right. Back to that. He's coming into, and again, this is all speculation until it happens, but coming into a locker room full of leadership, full of Stanley Cup champions. He's younger, so the Golden Knights can mold him to the way they want to. And if there's a path, I don't know if he could happen, but if there's a path to a two-way contract, that's even better right now. Admittedly, I don't know if he's eligible for that at this point of his career or not.
I don't think so. I'm not really sure, because one thing that stood out in that story was that even if Robin Lehner goes on LTIR, VGK would have to option a player to the AHL level.
Braden Paul.
But his name's on the cup, man. Like,
it is on the cup. You're right. They can't do that.
You can't move him. So Comtois then is part of that mix, trying to fit in on the second-ish third line, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I like his size and stuff.
It helps the competition level, right? Doesn't it help the competition level there?
You need competition and you need depth. There's going to be a myriad of injuries, not just in goal. I mean, that's what always happens. But you look back to what's happened the previous two seasons. I mean, I don't know what the number was last season, but I know the season before was close to 500 man games lost. And I would be shocked if last season was under between 250 and 300. And it was quality players missing a lot of time. So you bring a hungry 24-year-old in on a bridge deal who once, had 33 points in 55 games, basically a 50-point pace, who can, 50 points in the NHL makes you what, $4 million these days? I mean, So, that's a nice pay raise for someone who, made $2 million the year before. And the Golden Knights only got about $850K to work with in the salary cap. So I don't know exactly how this could fit
how
in.
They're going to cook the books. Say it, man. So no, with the professional tryout contract, does that bring you back down to minimum, or does he have to sign for about?
Well, I think a PTO is just another word for saying tryout, and then you make a deal after that.
Then you make the deal.
Yeah.
Next,
and
I think he could be a diamond in the rough. I really do. I thought he was good early. How many seasons has he been? Or do you have the numbers up there?
Yeah, he's been around since 18-19. 10 games with the Ducks in that season.
Yeah.
And then 29 games, 19-20. The bubble season, 2020-21, played just all but one game. And then 64 games last season, 52 games before. So he's experienced. He's got 200 games of NHL experience.
He's better than Kessel. You don't have to worry about Iron Man with this dude.
Okay, from that perspective, you don't have to worry about Iron Man with Kessel anymore.
Younger legs. I just like more upside, man.
I trust the Golden Knights if they take a flyer on him to see something there. Raise your hand if you were excited when they signed Ivan Barbashev at first. No one knew what we were getting. It was exciting, Tony. Cool. But did you think it was going to lead to Marchessault becoming the Conn Smythe and Michael leading playoff scoring?
No.
So
not
that's my angle on that comment there.
I wonder, okay, and we'll hear Kelly McCrimmon. Well, we've scouted this guy, Comtois, like 75 games, okay, with all
I would be curious if they, like, how many times, if they sign him. Yeah, we scouted him 37 times last season. And
coming up next,
awesome.
Who had the best Stanley Cup celebration for the Vegas Golden Knights organization? We're just back after this weekend. I can't talk. We'll return with more.
Celebration.
We'll return with more right after this on Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome back. A bitter coffee face. Welcome back on Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Don't forget on Fridays, it's our WTF with the Friday feature. We appreciate all of your comments. They are unbelievably super. As all my friends in Europe would say, super. They just say super about everything. In any event, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Golden Knights. All right, so this past weekend, the latest holders of the Cup, Paul Cotter, one of the most recent holders of the Cup, Nick Hague's grandmother, 100 years old, drinking jungle juice out of the cup. I surmise, no. Ben Hutton, no, that was bad joke. Ben Hutton eating cereal out of the cup. And that was right next to, of course, with the water shot right next to the St. Lawrence River. So I think we're pretty much wrapped up. Unless the water boy gets it, I'm not sure who else would get the cup at this stage.
Well, the Cup's going to be in Vegas on Monday because that's when the pictures start for the season ticket members.
So when are you going to get your photos taken with the
Monday morning
family?
Monday morning, Dollar Loan Center.
Okay, we'll definitely post that up. So why the Dollar Loan Center? Why not T-Mobile?
Because they got my request because I didn't want to drive down to the Strip, so they did it just for me.
Okay, that's fair. Is the ice down there? Oh, no, they have hoops going on, I think, this week.
Yeah, but I'm sure the ice doesn't have to go down for a while. It doesn't need to because they don't have their first home game until the 20th of October, and it takes about 4 or 5 days to get it ready and then a little bit of time after that to set. So they got time still.
Okay. So I think we should talk about some of the best celebrations so far. Okay, so we had, just to go through, we can run through some of the highlights, I guess. Zach Whitecloud, I thought that it was cool. He enters in the horse-drawn carriage, and that was with the Sioux Indians, right, on the reservation there in Canada, which I thought was awesome.
That was cool.
Jonathan Marchessault with the conga line with the kids. Thought that was really fun and cool.
No conga lines at America First Arena, though.
Jonathan Quick with Eichel holding the cup and pouring some jungle juice down his throat was cool. And Tyler Toffoli was also there. There's so many random guests here. Riley Smith had the boat party. Chandler Stevenson was wakeboarding with the cup.
That was cool.
LT and Aiden Hill, I thought it was cool, really neat that they went to the Alberta Children's Hospital. Ryan Craig eating pierogies out of the cup. That was that, and the scout wasn't it the physical therapist for the team?
Yeah,
that had. What was he eating out of there? Egg rolls. He was.
But they looked really weird. People were talking about them, like, why are they all dark in the middle? And
they look disgusting in the middle. I don't know what that was, but they say they're really good.
Absolutely wonderful.
John Stevens was really cool back in New Jersey, and he brought the cup to show his appreciation for the first responders in a small town there, right on the beach. Of course, there's always water around the cup. I don't know what that is, but yeah. So first responders. And he took it to the town hall there. One of the top ones to me, and I think it was a little bit underrated, Chris, was South Beach Bruce. Because, I just invited the neighbors down the street, Bobby Orr and Ray Bork, stinking name dropper. He just invited the neighbors. It's like, okay, all right, you got everyone trumped there. You win.
It's like Shea Theodore yelling down the street, "Hey, what's up?" Just carrying the Stanley Cup. Yeah.
Didn't Jonathan Quick, Yeah, that's right. Yelling at the neighbor. I think Jonathan Quick was also there. Yeah, he was there, right? Yeah, he was at
Cape Cod?
Cassidy's.
At the Cod? On the Cod?
Yeah, yeah. Another
It's not
neighbor.
at
Just
Cape
another
Cod.
neighbor
Someone got mad
dropping
at me
in.
when I said that. So you have to say on Cape Cod, not at Cape Cod.
You have to say on Cape Cod.
Yeah, I got yelled at. I got yelled at by someone on Vegas Hockey now.
Okay.
So who knows?
What was your favorite celebration?
I don't know. I was hoping to see something a little more Vegas.
Risque. You wanted to see risque.
I did. I wanted to see the one
There was
that,
no
that probably
glitter in the
happened that
cup.
there was
There
no
was no
cameras for.
glitter. No glitter in the cup.
Oh, Katy Perry be mad about that. No, I mean, I like Jonathan Quick just because he was the only one that seemed to do the old rip the shirt off and dump all the beer on him in the cup and all of that. That one got a little rowdy. I'm not gonna lie. I thought the William Karlsson Dancing Queen one. I'm not even saying this to rattle you. I thought that was kind of cool. Just the irony of the whole thing right there. And
Poor
Karlsson
lighting.
don't care.
Poor lighting, though.
Poor lighting.
The lighting
Yes,
wasn't
Tony.
great.
Poor lighting.
Couldn't tell
I'm
what
gonna
they
say
were
I'm
doing.
gonna go. I want to go with the worst celebration. Teddy Bluger, who using a friggin' bowl to eat his cereal. Like, put a bowl in the cup. That should be. He should have like had a penalty and just the cup. You're done with the cup for the day. Like, he should have had 5 minutes for not celebrating properly for that. That was bad. Like, you don't. The Stanley Cup is completely sanitary. We've heard this so many times. It's 0.9997 sterling, whatever the heck it is, and it's fine. So the people that just ate directly out of it or drank directly out of it, they did it right. If you put a bowl inside of a bowl, that's like a plan to make a plan. Come on, Bluger, what are you doing?
That Nolan Patrick celebration with the cup was something else too.
Too soon.
So what do you think? What do you feel that there will be repercussions from this Seravalli story once everyone gets back here in their offices there in beautiful downtown Summerlin today?
I mean, what has to happen for the NHL to take a look? And I don't mean investigate and just to kick the tires. Like, does someone who I'm sure the NHL, like all the teams, they have all these people that follow the Twitter accounts and stuff like that to see what's being said. So does someone inside the NHL, whether it's player safety or whatever division it is, they're like, okay, Seravalli just said something. Let's take a look at this. Like, I have to think that the NHL, like, you can't just call the NHL, hey, we're putting Nolan Patrick LTIR for the season. Have a good day, and click before the voicemail runs out. Like, I don't think it's that easy to put someone on LTIR. There has to be follow-up. There has to be a lot of boxes you're able to check, medical records, all sorts of things like that. So I'm just not completely sold that the Golden Knights did anything wrong. Could they have possibly towed the line a little bit on this one? Of course, you have to acknowledge Seravalli because he's right a lot more times than he's been wrong. So you have to see both sides of it. Was there possibly some middle ground where they said, hey, listen, maybe you'll be okay by March, maybe you won't be, we don't know. If we just put you on LTIR now, we don't have to cross that bridge and you can have a fresh start next season. Like, could that have happened? And if that's the path, is there anything against the rules with that? Like, where is it written in scripture where someone has to come back? I mean, I know it does say about LTIR, if someone has been cleared and stuff like that, there is a certain time window and a timetable. Concussions are different, though. A broken foot, a broken ankle, a torn ACL, all these are measurable things where, I mean, okay, Patrick Kane, he's a free agent right now, but let's just assume he was not a free agent right now. He has said, I might be able to come back a little bit earlier. I believe he had work done on his hips, getting old. He's getting up there like us, Tony, but he got work done on his hips. So he comes out and says, I might be able to come back a little bit earlier, but I don't think I want to rush it. Max Pacioretty, here's another example right now. They're going to take their time with him. 2 ACLs, obviously. If Max Pacioretty theoretically could return to competition October 1st, does he have to, especially given his history? Like, these are all the questions that I'm sure are asked. They're discussed. And concussions, I'm sure, takes a different path to these discussions than broken bones and stuff like that. So, I think at the end of the day, you hope Nolan Patrick is well. You hope he's well enough to, whether he wants to even continue playing I mean, what if Nolan Patrick comes out tomorrow and says he's retiring because of concussions? Seravalli doesn't look right then, does he?
No, but this could also be generated by his agent because he's now a restricted free agent saying, oh, well, he was definitely a player that was healthy all last season.
So you're
And they put him
you're
on
going a layer deep.
LTIR.
I see what you're saying there, Tony, and that's also fair. I mean, listen, there's verbal warfare that happens, and they use people like me and you as pawns to stir up the pot a little bit because it gets their name out there in social. And next thing you know, Nolan Patrick gets a contract with the Detroit Red Wings next week, or Edmonton Oilers, or whatever. So I get it. I get it.
So maybe he'll be back, and hopefully for him, everything's fine with his health.
Exactly, and that's the foundation of this whole discussion.
Don't forget, we'll be back again tomorrow on Wednesday, and we appreciate everyone tuning in, especially the everydayers. You could find us, of course, wherever you get your podcast, and make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. I'll get this week together. We'll be okay, I think, the rest of the week. I think tomorrow, every time I try to preview the next show, Chris, something else happens. There's another, bombshell that hits. But tomorrow
Perfect.
we'll talk about the rookie face-off and the rosters and why he's thinking Brendan Brisson is a rookie. Okay, we'll get into that tomorrow. From my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.